Okay, as promised, the recall and reflect history for this week. So, welcome to week 5, the American Revolution. So, you're going to read chapter 5 and read it because the information from it will be on the quiz next week. So, in the study of history, we do not have a quiz this week. In the study of history, we employ primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources are firsthand, right now. They do not explain. There's no context, although in the Declaration of Independence, which you're going to read this week, there's context. They're making the case for why we're breaking up with Britain. But typically, primary sources just are. Then we need the secondary sources to give background and context and piece a bigger sphere of information, more of the story together. So our textbook is a secondary, probably also a tertiary source. This week, we're going to read chapter 5 in our textbook, but then we're going to get our hands dirty with some primary sources. So you're going to read the Declaration of Independence. It is linked in the assignment. We're going to answer some questions about it from the document itself. All of the answers are in the document itself. Then you're going to read a letter that Abigail Adams wrote to her husband John in March of 1776. She mailed it in April, but we're going with the March date. And you're going to use just the letter itself to answer some questions about what she's asking, what she's saying, what is she addressing. Abigail Adams is an amazing woman, and I'm sure there were other women who were amazing then too. The difference is she was a letter writer, and because her husband and one of her sons, John Quincy Adams, they become president. So her letters were preserved. That's the key. If you want to be in history, your stuff's got to be preserved. I don't know the magic answer for that in our age. Maybe those data centers, I don't know. But her letters were preserved. And also she was brilliant. Her husband could go gallivanting all across this country and Europe because she was more than skilled with running things at home. They had a farm in Massachusetts. They had a huge family. She was brilliant. She was hardworking. She made things happen. And she also had some really good suggestions for the country that her husband just ignored or couldn't make happen. Either way, so we respect her from a distance, but in her time, she was ignored in large part, not always. So you're looking at this letter. It's linked in the assignment. Read it. Same with the Declaration of Independence. Don't just go to the questions. You can read the questions first, but then read the whole document because you're going to have a much greater understanding if you read the whole document. Plus, there will be stuff that's not in this assignment on the quiz. Okay, then also, you're going to read the Northwest Ordinance. That was the governing document. It became law in July of 1787, and it was, hey, all this western land that we're taking over, how are we going to govern it? This is the law. So in July of 1787, when the Northwest Ordinance became law, all of the delegates are in Philadelphia fighting out what's the new Constitution going to be. So the Northwest Ordinance is a very important document as we trace the chain of governing documents together. So then you will answer questions solely from the Northwest Ordinance. There's no outside research. All of these questions can be answered from the documents themselves and should be. Read the documents. If you come to words you don't understand, which I frequently come to words that I don't understand, use a dictionary. Look the word up. Put the word into your search, the address box in the internet. Good heavens, I'm showing my age. But okay, so just type in a search, the word, and then put the word definition or even DEFN, and it'll bring up the definition. So also on the schedule, I had that we were going to read the Articles of Confederation. I want to read those next week when we're looking at the Constitution, so we better understand the fight. So we're going to read the Articles of Confederation next week. So this week, it's just chapter 5, the Declaration of Independence, Abigail Adams' letter, remember the ladies, and then the Northwest Ordinance, and answer these questions. All right, reach out with questions. And also, if you need an immediate response to me with your questions, please text me. My number is in the syllabus. All right, have a great day.